Under a sky painted with the gentle hues of a fading afternoon, the story of Sarah and Mark unfolded like a carefully crafted tapestry, a weaving of hope, love, and mystery. They had spent years nurturing the dream of becoming parents, a dream that blossomed into reality on the day the final adoption paperwork was signed. In that moment, their hearts overflowed with a sense of completeness, a long-awaited achievement finally realized. However, as quiet celebrations merged with lingering shadows, an unsettling undercurrent threatened to unravel the very fabric of their seemingly perfect life. Every corner of their new home carried stories of beginnings, small treasures that bore witness to new memories waiting to be born. In the midst of this fresh start was a small, inconspicuous playroom filled with toy chests, picture books, and trinkets, each one a silent sentinel to the past. It was here that an unexpected discovery would soon catalyze events, casting doubt over the very foundation of their happy family narrative. What at first appeared to be an innocent remnant of the process soon revealed itself as the key to questioning everything they believed was true about their daughter's history. During a quiet afternoon when a beam of sunlight filtered through the window of the playroom, Sarah's attention was inadvertently drawn to a toy chest tucked beneath an old mattress. Amid the familiar wear of a child's playthings lay a forgotten folder, yellowed with age and bristling with the weight of secrecy. The folder, seemingly abandoned, bore a name that was curiously absent from the official records, a name that trembled with an eerie implication of hidden truths. In that moment, the room's ambiance shifted imperceptibly from a haven of joy to a stage set for revelations that would soon challenge the idyllic facade of their new life. The folder's contents, confined within brittle pages and cryptic annotations, began to hint at past episodes shrouded in mystery. Within its documents were details of a closed adoption, a term that, in most cases, signified finality and resolution. Yet something about these annotations suggested an unresolved meaning, as if the story of the child's origin was far from neatly concluded. A secondary layer of doubt permeated the scene as Sarah's delicate hands traced over scribbled notes and symbols that seemed to belong to an entirely different narrative, one that was dark, foreboding, and laced with secrecy. The designation of the adoption as closed was now questioned, its veracity undermined by the presence of these unsettling annotations. In the days that followed, a series of cryptic phone calls began to echo through their quiet home like distant, disquieting reminders. Each ring, emerging unexpectedly from the silence of midnight or the lull of a quiet morning, carried an enigmatic presence. The voice on the other end of these calls was never clear, never fully audible, but it conveyed enough to disturb the peace of Sarah and Mark's newfound stability. Every conversation, brief as it was, punctured the veil of the ordinary, and soon the couple found themselves grappling with a growing suspicion that someone or something was carefully orchestrating a narrative that they no longer had full control over. The sensation of being watched was not one of imagined paranoia, but of a matter-of-fact intrusion. Each shadow in the corridor, each flicker in the reflection of a window surfaced as a silent observer. The couple's home, once an emblem of newfound joy, now became a stage where the boundaries between safety and vulnerability blurred. The sporadic nature of the calls and the mysterious folder conspired together to suggest that the dark past of their adopted daughter was not a closed chapter, but one that was actively influencing their present lives. In every unguarded moment, the specter of the forgotten past made its presence palpable, urging them to dig deeper and to question every slight detail of the adoption process. Within the pages of the folder, the narrative became increasingly complex. Details emerged that hinted at a deliberate concealment, information that had been purposefully omitted from the official documents. There were annotations that alluded to incidents of neglect, cautionary notes that implied vulnerable periods in the child's early life, and vague statements hinting at external influences that might have sought to manipulate the adoption process. The revelation of these details transformed the file from a trove of bureaucratic records into a labyrinth of hidden agendas and enigmatic interventions. It was as though someone had carefully orchestrated the entire adoption process to conceal aspects of the child's past, details that could potentially shatter the illusion of a perfect, clean slate. As Sarah began to piece together the cryptic cues interspersed among the official records, she encountered layers of complexity that defied simple explanation. The meticulous nature of the hidden notes implied intentional obfuscation, suggesting that there were forces at play, aiming to shield certain information from prying eyes. It was not merely a case of accidental oversight. Rather, it was a deliberate act of erasure, a purposeful attempt to rewrite history into a more palatable version for those involved in the adoption process. The implications were chilling. If the past could be so carefully manipulated, what other truths might have been swept under the rug? Could the life of the child, filled with as much promise as it appeared, have been built upon a foundation of carefully concealed trauma? Every piece of evidence became a whisper from the past, an invitation to reconsider the notions of safety and trust. The couple's initial joy was slowly replaced by a creeping dread, as each cryptic phone call and every hidden detail in the folder compounded the mystery. With every step they took towards understanding these loose ends, Sarah and Mark felt the invisible hand of fate closing in around them, making them question whether the happiness they had long awaited might, in fact, harbor unforeseen dangers. The narrative of their daughter's adoption morphed from a story of destiny fulfilled into a multi-layered puzzle, with each missing piece prompting deeper introspection and caution. In the isolation of their late-night searches, amid stacks of documents and flickering computer screens, the couple's minds tirelessly sifted through clues, in search of a coherent narrative hidden beneath the surface. Their journey through this labyrinth of evidence was punctuated by moments of intense emotion, fleeting glimmers of hope when a plausible explanation emerged, only to be replaced by raw anxiety when another piece of the puzzle led to further uncertainty. The constant interplay of hope and dread created an ambiance that was as evocative as it was unsettling. Every seemingly trivial detail, the creak of a floorboard, the rustle of a piece of paper, held the potential to unravel another layer of deception that had been woven into the very fabric of their lives. The home that once embodied the promise of a joyful future began to transform into a canvas on which the past painted its complex narrative. Shadows elongated into specters of doubt, and every silent corner became a witness to a story that was as storied as it was sinister. The forgotten folder was no longer just an overlooked relic. It evolved into a symbol of the very secrets that had long remained buried beneath layers of forged smiles and sanitized records. It transported Sarah and Mark to a realm where every memory of the adoption was viewed through a lens of suspicion, a lens that transformed tender recollections into bittersweet fragments of a hidden truth yearning to be told. The enigma of the closed adoption took deeper form when more evidence began to hint at complicity from unexpected quarters. Institutional procedures that once seemed infallible were now emerging as vulnerable to human error, misuse, and, perhaps most unsettling, intentional subterfuge. In what had been portrayed as a straightforward transition of a child into a loving home, the shadow of covert interventions grew heavier with each passing day. The perfect narrative was gradually being replaced by a reality that was as dark as it was complex, a reality where every certified document might have been tainted with the fingerprints of ulterior motives. Within this intricate web of uncertainty, the cryptic phone calls assumed a new significance. They were no longer random disturbances. Instead, they emerged as deliberate signals, messages from a source obscured by layers of misdirection. The timing of these calls was as calculated as the placement of the forgotten folder, a pattern that defied mere coincidence. Their sporadic onset made them all the more disconcerting, a recurring reminder that even in moments of vulnerable silence, unseen eyes and ears might be scrutinizing every step. This relentless intrusion into their private world became both a catalyst and a harbinger, urging Sarah and Mark to reluctantly confront the shadowed corridors of their adopted daughter's past. Slowly, as the hidden narrative began to coalesce into a discernible picture, a chilling plot twist emerged, one that threatened to upend everything they had assumed about their daughter's life and the nature of their adoption. The revelations hinted at a clandestine network of influences and decisions that had been tampered with long before the couple ever laid eyes on their child. There were suggestions of a broader conspiracy, an intricate game where not all players were revealed, and where the stakes extended far beyond the confines of a single adoption file. Every detail, every carefully muted omission pointed to the possibility that the anguish and uncertainty of the past were far more than isolated incidents. They were part of a deliberate narrative, a story designed to mask a convoluted reality. The intensity of these realizations drove the couple into an introspective labyrinth of emotions. Their mind's eye replayed every moment of the adoption process, the reassuring smiles, the official reassurances, and the confident assurances that everything was in order, in stark juxtaposition with the emerging evidence that cast long, dark shadows over those same moments. It was as if the adoption, which had at once seemed like the culmination of destiny and the commencement of a new life chapter, had been an elaborate setup for events that transcended ordinary misfortune. The revelation that happily ever after might, in fact, be the beginning of a nightmare sent ripples of disquiet through both their hearts and minds. One afternoon, as a relentless drizzle tapped against the windows, a sound that compounded the atmosphere of isolation and suspense, Sarah meticulously laid out every piece of evidence on their dining table, transforming it into a tableau of hidden truths. The scattered documents, the faded photographs, and the inexplicable notes formed an intricate mosaic, one that slowly, yet unmistakably, narrated a story of concealment and betrayal. In that moment, the echoes of a past shrouded in deceit reverberated through the quiet confines of their home, compelling them to seek answers that could bridge the gap between the documented past and the present they were forced to navigate. The journey towards understanding was marked by reluctant collaboration with experts and researchers as the couple scoured public records, revisited old accounts, and examined every available detail with an intensity bordering on desperation. Each new discovery triggered a chain reaction of emotions, an amalgam of disbelief, sorrow, and a burgeoning resolve to confront the realities that lay beneath the veneer of official documentation. The path ahead was as murky as the crevices between years of carefully hidden secrets, yet the need for truth imbued every effort with a purpose that transcended fear. Gradually, as layers of official narratives were peeled away, a picture emerged that was equal parts heartbreaking and unfathomably complex. The show of resilience that marked Sarah and Mark's journey was a testament to the healing power of truth, even when the truth arrived, shrouded in enigma and endless questions. The very same documents that once promised closure now served as a bridge to an uncertain future that challenged the definitions of family and trust. In exposing the depths of a secret so meticulously guarded, the couple was forced to reconsider what it meant to embrace a life built upon hope, acceptance, and an unyielding search for authenticity. As the day of reckoning drew its inevitable close, the accumulation of clues and truths transformed the narrative from one of mere suspicion into a poignant exploration of identity and legacy. The chilling realization was clear. Every life, no matter how meticulously curated, carries within it a repository of secrets waiting to be unearthed. What had begun as an ostensibly joyful moment, the final ink on an adoption agreement, had blossomed into an intricate saga of mystery and hidden truths that now demanded full attention and resolution. In the quiet reflection of a long, somber evening, with the distant hum of a clock marking relentless time, the hidden narrative of Adoption Day secrets found its place in history, a history that no longer allowed for convenient erasure of the past. Each unanswered question, every neglected clue, served as a reminder that the simplest stories often conceal the most convoluted truths beneath their veneer of normalcy. Sarah and Mark, having embraced the stark reality that family is forged not solely by happy endings but by the arduous journey through darkness into light, stood ready to face the complexity of their daughter's past with the courage born of love and the relentless pursuit of identity. In that transformative moment, their home was no longer just a place of refuge but a sanctuary where the painful beauty of truth could be acknowledged, nurtured, and eventually healed. The journey ahead promised to be fraught with difficult conversations, lingering shadows, and moments of raw vulnerability. Yet, it also promised the possibility of genuine reconciliation, a chance to rebuild the narrative of their lives with honesty and integrity, unburdened by the dark secrets that had long been hidden away. The discovery had irreversibly altered the definition of family for Sarah and Mark, nudging them to explore uncharted realms of vulnerability and resilience. Adoption Day secrets, with its layers of deception, concealment, and ultimately, the arduous quest for truth, left an indelible mark on every stone of their journey. It was a chronicle of unexpected twists that challenged preconceived notions of a happily ever after, reminding every seeker that the truth, no matter how deeply masked, carries the inherent power to transform lives. As the final pages of the now infamous folder were laid bare, the story of Sarah and Mark evolved into something far greater. A timeless reminder that even in the face of sinister secrets, the human spirit can triumph in its pursuit of light amidst the pervasive darkness. And so, as twilight merged with the soft glow of dawn on another day filled with both hope and uncertainty, the journey of revelation continued. With each step taken in pursuit of the elusive truth, the family embarked on a shared pilgrimage. a passage from the curated facade of conventional adoption to the raw and honest acknowledgement of a past both mysterious and profound. The legacy of that fateful adoption day now resonated as an enduring testament to the complexities of love, the indomitable strength of the human heart, and the ultimate realization that sometimes the beginning of a new life is only the opening chapter of a far deeper, more intricate story. In the interplay of shadow and light, the fabric of their family was rewoven with threads of courage and unyielding determination. Their lives, once defined solely by the conventional markers of happiness, had transformed into a living, breathing testament to the notion that every secret unveiled is a step toward true understanding, a journey that, although riddled with painful revelations, ultimately carves a path toward healing and an authentic celebration of life in all its unpredictable shades. Every solemn moment, every silent breath taken in the solitude of midnight reflections, underscored the realization that embracing the full spectrum of truth was the only way to rebuild the promise of family from the remnants of a mysterious past. Thus, in the quiet aftermath of that fateful day, with the secrets of adoption no longer confined to faded documents or whispered phone calls, Sarah and Mark embraced their journey with renewed purpose. What they had unearthed was not merely an inconvenient truth, but a call to live authentically, to accept that even the darkest secrets can ultimately lead to a future illuminated by truth and trust. And so, as the final vestiges of the forgotten folder were respectfully archived away into the annals of their shared history, the couple stepped forward, hand in hand, into a future defined not by the shadows of a troubled past but by the resilient glow of their enduring love. In that defining moment, the once simple act of adoption transformed into a grand, mysterious saga, a tapestry where every thread, every hidden detail, contributed to the honest portrayal of a family committed to unearthing the truth. It became an enduring narrative of hope amid despair and clarity within obscurity. The journey of Adoption Day secrets was now etched not only in the annals of their personal story but also as a cautionary yet inspiring chronicle. A reminder that sometimes the most profound truths are discovered when one dares to peel back the layers of an ostensibly perfect beginning, revealing the intricate world that lies beneath. The mysteries of that day, laden with cryptic messages and unanticipated twists, continue to echo through the corridors of their home, a constant call to delve deeper into the forgotten pages of history. Every faded note and every hushed phone call now stands as the silent testament of a past that refuses to be contained, urging Sarah, Mark, and all those who listen to this unfolding story to remember that behind every seemingly settled case lies a labyrinth of secrets waiting to be unraveled. In embracing the full complexity of their reality, they discovered that the truth is a journey, a labyrinth, a canvas to be painted with resilience, and a story that, in its very essence, invites us all to seek a deeper understanding of what it truly means to be family. And so, as the light of day gently fades into a quiet twilight, the narrative of Adoption Day secrets remains a stirring invitation to acknowledge not just the beauty of happy beginnings, but the profound depth that emerges when one is willing to confront the darker undercurrents of an old story. For in every revelation, every hidden truth uncovered from the depths of a forgotten folder, lies the enduring hope that the human heart, no matter how shadowed by secrecy, always finds its way back into the light of love and truth.